to Teach Me Bees, episode 226. I'm your host, Dave Wescott. This is Scott the Beekeeper.
Hello, good morning.
Rocking
good
Adidas
morning.
this morning, huh?
Rocking the Adidas. Yeah, I actually am a fan of the three lines, but then, you know, they have the old school logo that they use a lot now too. So I don't know, maybe it's a throwback now. I don't know. But yeah, I like Adidas.
Three, any relation to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit there?
Maybe that's why they did it. I don't know. That's the three lines are great though.
Adidas.
Adidas.
I'm rocking the Carhartt.
Different style. Different kind of brand. But
different kind of brand. Yeah, I think Carhartt has become more popularized.
It's definitely more popular. Is it more popular than Adidas? I don't know.
It hasn't become, it used to be just a working man outfit. But then when all those non-workers wanted to
look
become
cool,
workers,
but not,
and feel like they were workers, they started wearing Carhartt. Therefore, if you've never dug a hole or dug a ditch or stood in sewage or pounded a hammer or fixed a roof or
you
fallen
could look
off a
like
roof
you have
or built a deck, you should probably not wear Carhartt. You should probably not be a poser and a faker. Okay?
You heard it here first.
So
Dave's got some beef with all these Carhartt wearers.
He ain't nothing. That's all I'm saying. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Hopefully,
welcome to the show, everybody.
Hopefully that was a shot of anger right across your bow. I hope that you threw your coffee cup at the radio and said, "You son of a gun."
At the radio, huh?
I can't believe it. The radio, the CD player, your iPhone, if you so wish.
Wow.
Your tablet, your computer, whatever device you may be listening on. Listen, we've had some antiquated folks on this show. Okay. Yeah. And I don't even
Do you think anyone's
know. I think somebody
recorded it and then put it on a cassette?
I think somebody probably. I mean, when you hear this voice, this olive oil voice.
Maybe we should like release cassette episodes for fun. I don't even know how you go about that, but we figure it out.
I've got cassette tapes.
You never know when you need them.
I've got cassettes. I've got a cassette player. There's just some music you can't get from the cassette to the CD.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, we are totally sidetracked. Today,
we are talking about honey.
This is it. Like when you walk in the front door, do you say, "Honey, honey, honey"?
Honey, I'm home.
Honey, honey, honey.
What's that from? That old show. The
honey,
black and white.
I'm home.
The girl always walks in, says, "Honey, I'm home." You know,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, this is probably more in Ralph's era.
Man. Whoa. Just throwing him under the bus.
Hey now.
Ralph, do you know what I'm talking about?
That's not a dick. Ralph's a wise old owl. Listen.
I'm a wise old owl. It was several. I mean, I think Leave It to Beaver. Leave It to Beaver. That probably happened when
maybe
Ward Cleaver came home.
I don't know. Anyways.
Oh, I Dream of Jeannie.
I Dream of Jeannie.
He'd say, "Honey, I'm home."
That might be it.
Dream with Jeannie. I've never even heard of that show, so you know it's old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
just like
honey.
Me.
I'm just kidding. We're talking about honey today. We're talking about
just
honey
an important
show.
It's an important topic. I'd say the two most frequent things that get brought up as a beekeeper or just talking about bees is bee stings, which often are from wasps, not actually from bees, and honey. Those are kind of the two main things that people like to talk about, you know? And actually earlier this week, I was out of town getting some stuff and visited a friend, and he was like, "I got this honey in the cupboard. I want you to tell me about it." And I was like, "Okay." So he gets his honey out of the cupboard and like shows it to me, and he was asking about like honey going bad or whatnot, and the kind of honey, and then he got some honeycomb out and everything. So I was like, you know what? Actually, this would be a great topic for us to dive into on the podcast, because
it is a great topic.
We've talked more about it in passing.
I get asked about honey all the time too. In fact, I had an HVAC guy at the house doing some work, and I was talking to him a little bit about bees.
Yeah,
nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Did a great job at the house. Fantastic. His name was Serge. Shout out to Serge. You did a fantastic job. And I felt like the price was fair, which is good. So
that's always nice.
So I like that too. So great job, Serge. If you're listening to the show, maybe you are. But and you can wear Carhartt. I just want to throw that out there.
Serge can wear Carhartt.
As a working man, you can wear Carhartt. You can wear Carhartt too, you know, being a beekeeper.
Yeah.
You're out there digging holes and carrying mud and getting stung and all sorts of things. But actually anybody can wear Carhartt, even the posers. You listen, you can, if you want to pretend like you work hard, it's cool. But anyways, he's because typing is not working hard. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It's different.
I do both.
Yeah. She wear half Carhartt.
I mean, you know, at that point, you're just wearing Carhartt underwear.
Okay. I was gonna say, would you split your shirt directly down the center, and so you have the left side of your body covered, or would you split it top and bottom?
It's a great question. I mean, how does one decide? There's so many options. There's so many colors. There's so many color matches.
Yeah,
there's so many videos that you could put out of this. I mean, I love Batman and the whole Two-Face opportunity that we're having here.
This
where we can be a split.
There could be some copyright issues.
I love that. I love that. But listen, I'm talking to Serge, and oh man, we're talking about keeping bees, and his brother actually keeps 9 hives.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool. And so we're talking all sorts about honey and this, that, and he's like, hey, do you have any honey? Could I try some of your honey? And, obviously we had given all of our honey away to charitable causes last year. So amazing job there. So, I didn't have any honey. Yeah. So I'm like, well, maybe I can scrounge up a jar. I came down here. I couldn't find a jar. But we talked about honey and honeybees, and we've got the raspberry patch out there, so maybe we've got a little raspberry honey going on, and we talked about the dandelions out there, so maybe we got a little dandelion honey going on.
Yeah, we're
playing the honey game, and so but we had a really nice conversation about honey and what it does. So the truth is that as a beekeeper, one of the biggest things that people always want to talk about is honey, 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 honey. Where is your honey? How much honey do you have? So on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Honey is it's one of the most important things. And so we just wanted to touch on a few really important items, I guess, or things about honey that are important. So first of all, honey is great because it's a natural sweetener. And historically, it's been a natural sweetener throughout human history, right? You can go back to the Egyptians, the Romans, thousands of years ago, people just eating honey, right? But unfortunately, back then, they would also kill the bees to get the honey. Thankfully, we don't do that now. We have better beekeeping techniques and practices. But honey is a natural sweetener. It's processed by the bees, and it gives the body, as a sweetener. I'm a guy who likes chocolate. I'm a guy who likes sweet things. I got a sweet tooth. Whereas my wife,
the first thing I like about you,
as a salty tooth, I guess. That's the first thing. Thank you. That's the number one on the list. And
Simba. I'm still trying to get over that.
Months later,
But you like chocolate?
I love chocolate.
I love chocolate.
Chocolate's my favorite.
Chocolate's my favorite.
But what's great about honey is it gives me that sweet tooth. Now, it doesn't meet every craving for chocolate, but often it does. And it's so much healthier. In a large quantity, if you had a large quantity of chocolate and a large quantity of honey, the honey's going to be way healthier,
I'll tell you
way better for your body. Okay.
This is the truth. I could literally sit down with a bag of Hershey Kisses. I'm talking a big bag. And I could pound the whole thing.
Milk chocolate, dark chocolate.
Milk chocolate, dark chocolate, chocolate with almonds. Dude, listen.
Doesn't matter.
I'm hooked like a crack fiend on the street. And at the end of the day, I'll tell you this, you always need more. You always need another. You think, I'm just going to have 2 tonight. I'm going to have 2.
2 becomes 6.
2. That's right.
6
Real
becomes
fast.
10.
Real fast.
And next thing you know, half the bag is gone.
That's right, because they're little. They're little.
That's how peanut M&Ms, not peanut M&Ms, peanut butter M&Ms for me. Peanut butter and chocolate's a great combo.
I love peanut. I also love Reese's. Man, I feel like we're becoming best friends.
What's a great combo as well that I've recently discovered? Honey on pizza.
Honey on pizza is a great combo. I was at a restaurant that had honey on pizza.
It's very good.
And it was fantastic. But before we get too sidetracked, I'll tell you that one of my favorite things to do, and this is something only a dad can do, or a mom, whatever, or a kid. But you come into your house, you got your honey jar. We have to keep our honey in the fridge because we live in the country, so we get a lot of ants.
A lot of ants, yeah.
Ants suck. But you open up the honey jar and there's 2,000 ants in there, and you're like,
great.
Okay, I'm still eating the honey. But what you do is, this is the truth. You take a big, the big spoon. The big spoon.
Yeah, there's a big one and a small
when you're
one.
sitting at the table, what is the big spoon for? Do you know exactly?
Soup.
Is it?
I think so.
Then what's the little spoon for?
To look proper.
You don't know your etiquette.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Ralph, big spoon, little spoon, what are they for?
The big spoon is normally the soup spoon. The little spoon
got that right.
Can't be for dessert, but usually they bring out new dishware for the dessert, depending on the restaurant.
They do.
Yeah. And the little spoon can sometimes be to crack your creme brulee when it comes to the table. Yeah.
What about the big fork? What's the big fork for?
Big fork is for your main entree. A little fork is for appetizers.
Just a little salad or something.
Or
salad. Could it be a salad fork?
Yeah.
Could it be a salad fork?
Yeah.
What's the small knife for?
Small knife is for butter.
Oh, there you go. All right, Ralph, good job. All right,
Ralph knows.
Ralph passed the test of time. So you take the big spoon, the soup spoon. I'm not talking a ladle for all you lushes out there.
Okay.
Am I just talking
good,
smack?
Good clarification.
But we take the big soup spoon, and you just go into that jar of honey, and you take a large dollop.
Large dollop.
You know what a dollop is? You just load that spoon up, and then you just knock that whole spoonful of honey down. One, it's so good.
Yeah.
Two, it's so sweet. It knocks you back just a tidbit.
It's a great way to start the day.
It is a great way. It's like a shot of something good. but at the end of the day, I'll tell you this. Here's the difference. And this is the truth. This is 100% on honey. This is 100% on bees. Here's the deal. This is what I love about it, is when you take that huge dollop of honey, my man, you know that you don't need to eat another sweet the rest of the day. Like whatever it is, those enzymes, those antibodies, those antibacterial nutrients, whatever it is in there, that bee sugar, man, whatever that is, I mean, it knocks the sweet tooth out. I don't need to go. First of all, I'm not going to go and take a second dollop of honey because the first one was so intense.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean.
My thirst was quenched here.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not going back for round 2. I don't need it. I'm not a lush. And then, number 3 is I don't need anything else sugary. And that's an amazing fact about a natural substance. Yep. If you do have that sweet tooth, if you struggle with weight, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to cut back, but you love the sweets, you don't want to feel like a robot eating these diets that make your teeth fall out and, make you feel like you're eating cardboard all day, and you need something sweet. Yeah. Get some natural raw honey from a local beekeeper. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm putting 100%. Down.
It's good. Honey has, it's a good source of antioxidants.
Excellent.
It's got antibacterial and antifungal properties.
I rub it on everything.
You could use it to heal wounds, although I'm going to say I'm not a doctor. Consult your doctor on using honey to treat wounds, okay? I'm going to just put that out there.
I also really like, when I have a wound, to do a double treatment of lavender.
Lavender's really good.
And then honey.
Yeah. Lavender. This lavender honey, it's 2 for 1 right there.
I'm just saying that those 2 combos will basically heal any problem you have.
It's
talk to your doctor. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Talk to your doctor. Because I totally made that up. It'll heal anything. That was not true. That was that was fake news. That was fake news. Like CNN.
But it might help. Who knows? It's got natural plant chemicals in it. So phytonutrients is what they're called, which is just good for us to eat as people. Sometimes it can help
I'm so glad you
digestive
pronounced
issues.
that word. I was really wondering who was going to take a stab at that. You actually killed that.
I tried it. I think I got it.
You sounded really good at it. We're not going to put it up on the screen so no one can debate us. Yeah. But phytonutrients, that was really, the Y big word was really kind of like, why did you put that Y in the middle of this freaking word?
English. Why is there a T in tsunami? I don't know. You can help
There's
digest.
a T in tsunami?
Yeah, that's how you start the word.
I know. Just kidding, man.
This is maybe like one of my most common uses for honey in the cold season is it helps with sore throats. So in my tea, I always put honey in it. Whenever I'm
tea drinker?
When I'm not feeling super well, yeah, I definitely like drinking tea. And so I always put some honey in there. It just helps. It's really good. It's healing for the throat. And it's got different nutritional elements like calcium.
At the Chinese restaurant.
Magnesium, potassium, zinc. There's more. So honey's just got a lot of really good stuff in it.
Things.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So that's like the health side why I think honey's great. And we recommend eating raw honey. Now, I do need to
What about helping the digestive issues?
It definitely can. Yeah.
Do you know how that works?
I'm not a doctor, so I don't fully understand how it works. But it has been stated and it's believed that it helps people who have digestive issues be able to digest better. As one, I don't think I've had a ton of those issues. I can't speak to that very much.
I have serious digestive issues. I do. I don't know what it is. It's an age thing. I'm like Ralph,
Maybe you need a second spoonful of honey.
Fine wine.
Look how I just brought Ralph into that.
Yeah, you just threw him right under the bus.
I did not throw Ralph under the bus. I love Ralph.
I don't feel like I'm under a bus at all.
Good.
Okay. All right.
Good.
All right.
Good. Because the bus could be heavy.
Do you want to give
As am I.
disclaimer? Don't feed your infants raw honey because there can be bacteria in the honey and they don't have an immune system developed. You could just be getting your kids sick. Don't do that. You need a developed immune system. So I wanted to give that disclaimer
out there. There you go. Why
does
does honey not go bad? I've heard that there's a lot of myths out there with the water content in the honey, mixing it down, putting it in the fridge.
I was actually asked this by my friend this week. He's like, so why does honey not go bad? Tell me about this. And so the simple answer that I could give to that is based on the water content. It's very low water content. It's less than 20%, about 18, 17% is a pretty normal water content for raw honey, at least. And it's got a very high sugar content, around 80%. And because those are at a different threshold, it lasts a long time. There's not the water to bring the bacteria into the honey. Now, you could store your honey in such a way that it could crystallize or could go bad in a long time from now. But typically, people eat their honey in such a speed, I guess, that it's not going to go bad. Because honey could last. I've heard that honey from the Egyptians were 5,000 years ago was sealed and is still edible. Like, it's going to take a long time for it to go bad. So
I want to eat some of that Egyptian honey.
We can look into that. I'm sure it costs a pretty penny. I don't know. But so honey doesn't really go bad. It will crystallize though, which means it's still edible. It changes forms basically. It looks a little bit different. It doesn't look as smooth. In my opinion, doesn't look as great to eat, whereas honey that's not crystallized, it flows a lot better. It looks beautiful. So crystallized honey, it's got glucose and fructose in it, and it's really when the glucose becomes out of suspension, it kind of overwhelms the honey. That's when it begins to crystallize. So actually, you keeping your honey in the fridge, although it gets rid of the ants, eliminates that problem, if you don't eat it quick enough, it'll crystallize in the fridge because of the temperature that it's at.
Really?
Yeah. So it needs to be at room temperature or kind of above 70 degrees to prolong crystallization.
Now, one of the things I think here that we should discuss within this is that I think generally what we're speaking of is raw honey.
Yes.
Here in this particular scenario, because when you buy honey off the shelf, you know, like you go to any of your major grocery stores and you're not buying raw natural honey.
You could easily get confused that you think it's raw honey that you're buying, but it's actually not.
No,
like
right.
They're very creative with their marketing and labeling and everything.
That's
so
really
be aware.
That's really mixed down, because one of the things that I've been reading is that you know, a lot of times when you do buy honey off the shelf, it's not as pure, it's not as good, but it also needs to be refrigerated because it can go bad because the water content
is not what it should be.
Is higher.
Yeah.
Because they're adding water into the honey to make it go further and sell more product, as they're selling a diluted product.
Yeah.
Is what I've read. And I don't buy honey off the shelf at Safeway, so I wouldn't know. But at the end of the day, that's one of the things that is of thought, because in specific articles, it does specifically say that you want to keep your honey refrigerated. And to be honest, the reason why I actually put my honey in the refrigerator, one, was because of the ants, but two, I thought, oh, this is okay because of the research that I had done on the honey.
Yeah.
The crystallization part, you know, is also good to know that it's going to crystallize, but that just because it crystallizes doesn't mean you can't eat it.
No, you could definitely eat crystallized honey. There's actually people that I was reading some stuff that they actually like eating crystallized honey more.
Yeah.
You know, it's just got a different texture to it.
And I like the cold honey, to be perfectly honest.
Go for it, you know?
It's like an ice cream cone.
It will, if you're not used to what does crystallized honey look like, though, it's going to look different. You know, you might think, if you don't know, my honey went bad, you know?
Yeah.
It didn't go bad. It is completely edible. And if you want it to look like how it did maybe when you bought it, you could just reheat it.
Yep.
You know, reheat it above 70 degrees. Either leave it out maybe for a few days, or you could actually raise the temperature, you know, cooking or whatever you want to do with it to change it. So you can definitely change the form back, is what I'm trying to say here. So crystallized honey is not the end of the world, but it does happen. So no, honey doesn't really go bad because of the water content. That's why.
It's a sustainable product.
Yep, and it's been that way for a very, very long time.
The Egyptians were keeping bees.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the truth of the matter is, and something you mentioned earlier was that, you know, hey, when they wanted to get the honey out back in the day, they would just kill the bees.
Yeah.
You know, and I would say that today a fair amount of beekeepers lose their hives. And, you know, I mean, it's interesting because I interact with a lot of people talking about Honey for Hope, talking about bees. I have, you are randomly in a conversation with people and they know a beekeeper, they know someone back here bees. You know, there's a lot of people that actually know about bees. And one of the things I think that's really interesting here is that I hear a lot of people, you know, they have a hive, they get the honey, and they let the hive die. They just let it die out over the winter.
Yeah, I've interacted with people like this. Yeah,
and there's lots of them. I mean, it's not like just a few. There's a lot of people that I've ran into. And then in the summertime, what they do is they just go ahead and they just buy a new hive, and then they figure, probably, you know, the hive is like, you know, I know a guy just drove down to California, picked up 9 hives. You know, and so the thing is that people are buying hives because they don't want to deal with storing and carrying in winter and this. They've got their own purpose for it. And so, you know, just know that like that still happens today. I think, and here's the deal. If you're listening to this show and you're in Washington, one, if you've got a hive and you don't want to keep it over the winter, reach out to us.
Yeah.
And we'll actually take that hive off your hands. And
much better that than letting them die.
Yeah, we'll keep those bees. We will make sure those bees are fed and warm and loved on and taken care of. And so, you know, that's a shout out to anybody out there. And if you see a swarm, you know, give us a call. We'd love to come out and take a look at it. You know, there was an interesting story about
in a reasonable drive.
Within a reasonable drive. So Washington, we'll just say for that point at this particular moment. But if you DM us, we'll give you the exact.
Yeah, we'll give you more details.
Yeah, but here's the deal. There was a beekeeper that gets called, and mom calls, and she's like, "There's a bunch of bees swarming in my laurel hive," and the beekeeper says, "Don't worry, I'll be right out. It's totally natural." He hops in his truck, he heads over, boom, and then there's kids out there with hoses and water guns, and they're trying to kill these bees, and and there's not many bees left. There was a big swarm, now there's just a small. The bees are defensive, there's dead bees all over the ground.
Jeez.
And the beekeeper says, "Hey man, stop doing this. These bees are friendly, these bees are nice," and even holds some bees in his hand. They don't even sting him, even though they've been in such a defensive posture. And what happens is there was a lot of bees were killed, and there's a handful left, a nice swarm left, just protecting their queen and trying to stay around her and all that. And just the onslaught of bees. Bees swarm because their hive they've grown too large for their hive, or maybe some other reasons. But if you see a swarming hive, don't kill it. Don't go after that hive. That's a good beehive. That's just maybe too big for
call somebody.
Capture it yourself. Call us. Call somebody. But grabbing a swarmed hive is it's not the end of the world. Aliens aren't attacking, right? So just take note and say, "Hey man, listen, call a beekeeper." There are so many beekeepers and so many bee people who would love to pick up that hive and help that out. Don't attack it. Don't go after it, because for the most part they're gentle and they're harmless. And
they're just looking for a new home.
If you're in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California, you need to be careful because of the African killer bee that mated with the honeybee. But so you need to be careful from that standpoint too, because the African killer bee,
Africanized bee,
can actually take down a small dog or a small child and kill them. So you want to be careful too from that standpoint. Just because if you're in that area, the body types are very, very similar. We did a complete show on it. If you're interested, it was episode 221. I'm just kidding. I don't even know what episode it was. I completely made that up.
Well, we're not
more fake news
on that yet.
But we talked about it. We showed the size of the bees and some different stuff. So, anyways, that's what I'm just sharing about the bees as we're bringing this in for a landing.
Yeah, and I want to touch on one more thing. At least in this episode about honey, we might talk more. I think a great conversation would be raw versus pasteurized and different types of honey.
Yep.
But for right now, buy local honey, right? And I'm telling you this for a few different reasons. One, I just believe in supporting local. Like, help your local beekeeper, whether it's a full-on business like ours or it's a side thing for them, whatever. Support local, right? Buy raw honey. If you're gonna buy raw honey, you're gonna get it from a beekeeper for sure. Like every beekeeper I know does raw honey. They don't. Maybe some of them also do pasteurized.
Raw honey is the best.
But raw honey, it's straight from the hive. It's barely heated up. Just be able to bottle it, because honey flows better when it's warmer. If it's cold, it is a lot more challenging to bottle, right? So there's not been much done to it other than taken out of the hives, sifted a little bit, heated a little bit, and bottled, right? And it's good. But the other reason to get local honey is because it helps with allergies. It helps with those bees have pollinated locally. Maybe it's in your town or in your region or just in the Pacific Northwest in general, right? That honey from those bees who have been in your local area is going to be able to help you get over allergies, because it's got all the those specific allergy plants, those flowers,
right,
those things that you're allergic to, the pollen you're allergic to, built into that honey, and you're digesting it at a very low threshold that you're going to build resiliency to those allergies. So if this allergy is something you struggle with, which I know here in the Northwest, a lot of people do have very rough seasonal allergies, eat local honey. It's going to help you.
Eat local honey. And listen, if you want local honey, check out Honey for Hope.
Yeah, check us out. Pre-order for the season.
We're going to have a lot of honey. And we love selling our honey. Well, listen, this has been an absolutely fantastic show. I've enjoyed every moment of it. I'm Dave Wescott, your host. Follow me on LinkedIn, YouTube, social media, Facebook, everywhere where you can find social, except for TikTok, because I don't believe in the Chinese government. Outside of that, I'm on social media, and I'm hanging out.
Follow along.
Give me a shout. Give me a like. Give me a share. Drop your comments in the comment box. I know I was talking a little smack today. It's just one of those days where you want to catch some sun rays. So listen, have a good day. Thanks for joining in. Honey for Hope.
Have a good ride.